wish you well. When you ain't with me, I want you crying.
Hey Eli, shake the streets
I know
again.
it's wrong, but I just gotta be honest. Pick me up, don't know if it's what I need, but it's what I want, gotta cover me. Yeah. All night I wish you well. When you ain't with me, I want you crying. I know it's wrong, but I just gotta be honest. Pick me up, don't know if it's what I need, but it's what I want, gotta cover me. All night I wish you well. When you ain't with me, I want you crying. I know it's wrong, but I just gotta be honest. Pick me up, don't know if it's what I need, but it's what I want, gotta cover me.
Hey Eli, shake the streets
I
again.
know it's wrong, but I just gotta be honest. Pick me up, don't know if it's what I need, but it's what I want, gotta cover me. All night I wish you well. When you ain't with me, I want you crying. I know it's wrong, but I just gotta be honest. Pick me up, don't know if it's what I need, but it's what I want, gotta When you wave with me, I want you cry, yeah.
Hey Eli, shake the streets.
I know it's wrong, but I just gotta be honest. Pick me up, don't know if it's what I need, but it's what